Hello, everybody. We're going to start this webinar session. First of all, I'm going to present myself and my colleague assigned me. So we are here both Christina Inmas, who is the head of operational logistics, also known as head ops, and myself, log ops. Oh, it's okay. And myself, Martin Faroud, who is supply reference in the supply unit and more in charge of improvement management, kind of. We're going to present this webinar that is about emergency supply boosts in regular mission. Okay. And just for you to know, so the process will be 15 minutes of presentation, 15 minutes of question. Okay. You can always try to write your question in the conversation panel on the left. I will try to reply to them at the end of the presentation. And if you have an urgent question, please let me know and we will deal with it. So first of all, the agenda, a small introduction of what are we talking about, the principle, the workflow, so how to use it, other contribution that we can see and that will allow us to go through this process in a smooth way. And of course, question and answers, if I can. First of all, allow me to present you the lead time of the last year. I put in this slide, first of all, let's say a time frame that is from the exploration, so we say started intervention until that the cargo is shipped, all right? So this is all the timeline you will see on the top. I split this timeline in few parts. The first is the decision that we are, let's go, and this is an emergency. The second one is we're going to place the order. The third one is we confirm the order. Fourth one is the order is ready to ship. And the last one is the cargo is shipped. So that's basically these four columns that you see mean that. On the right side of this timeline, you will see the total lead time in number of days and the percentage of items that have been present in the e-stock and the percentage of kits that have been present in the e-stock. If you look at the line, the content of that, you will see that the two first lines are emergency, so linked to the emergency units, so linked to MSF supply. We will see that a bit later on. And the one that is in the square, the red square, is linked to the ESBM order we have been placing during 2018. Let's look at those data a bit. We will see that, and from the one just arriving, I'm going to mute you. Here you go. And so let's look at that. You will see that in average, in emergency units, we take 12 days between we decide there is an emergency and we place the order. In the regular, so meaning ESBM, what we are talking about today, it takes 10 days, right? So a bit the same. We place the order and we confirm the order. There is some discussion with MSF Logistics or MSF Supply. It takes 1 or 2 days. Then the big part of what we think is always the main lead time is the preparation, the packing. We validate the order and we pack the order. This is pro forma confirmed to order ready to ship or RTS. It takes 9 days for MSF Supply, again, on average for the first response over 2018. And it takes 6 days to MSF Logistics. Let's say that our supply center, both Brussels and Bordeaux, MSF Supply and MSF Logistics, tend to reply to our needs around a week. Then started, we have the goods, we need to ship them. So we can include in this part let's find a cargo for those goods. Let's find a clearance in the country for those goods. So let's do a pre-clearance process. And that can take 9 days for the emergency and 15 days to the regular. Here, it's tough to compare both of them. Because it depends really on the country where we are working at. For us to see here is, it looks like we're taking time in both the starting moment between the emergency in the order entry or the pre-clearance process, right? What is interesting as well is on the right side, the percentage. We can see that the definition of the e-stock in the emergency unit seems to be a bit better and has been increasing because we reviewed this stock last year when for the regular mission, it's tend to be quite low. So less than a third of the items are present in the stock. All right. We will see later that this process is under revision. So let's be the first idea of what are we talking about. Then let's define what ESBM means, because sometimes it's called ESRM, ESBM, the Boost project. By definition, the ESBM was a full project with 4 pillars. The first one was emergency stock for regular mission. So that's ESRM. That's what you know as ESRM. This is the stock, the emergency stock. Basically, in the past, MSF Supply had an emergency stock only. Last year, no, 2 years ago, we decided to add a stock in MSF Logistics inside this ESBM project, and this is this emergency stock, right? More than that, an emergency supply guideline has been created with a, let's say, a big one with a small leaflet that is guiding it. Then we try to move some protocols for the field, so changing them, adapting them to emergency, and the same for the headquarters. Okay, that was the 4 pillars of this project. This project has been finalized a year ago, or 2 years ago, well, years ago, let's say, and we have been working in regular mission. Okay, anyway, sorry to stop that. So let's continue. I'm going to show you now the, let's say, the general overview. It might be a bit redundant for you, but I think it's good that it's all clear for everybody. UA means a unit of emergency unit. So that's basically the cell that is led by Gabriel, okay? The emergency cell. They do emergency order and regular order. Emergency order and regular order are both to MSF Supply, all right? This is the concept. Regular cell, cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, or LATAM, if we can, cell 5, place order to MSF Logistics. They can be regular or emergency, okay? We'll see a bit what define emergency to regular later on. Another point to clarify is, what are a bit the scope of both emergency units? Okay, what are the emergency inside the emergency units, and what are the emergency by regular mission? Right? So for the emergency unit, most are outside regular mission, independent. So we act inside. Sometimes it happens that we act inside a regular mission, like Ethiopia. Sorry, I'm going to mute you. The starting point, no material on the ground. We are working with MSF Supply. The value of the stock is around 1.5 million euros that we have pre-positioned in MSF Supply, so in Brussels. And in 2018, we were working in Bangladesh, Zambia, Congo, Cameroon, Iraq, and others. Emergency by and made by regular mission are by default in regular mission.
Cool.
Okay. The starting point is normally the e-prep that you position in your country and your regular stock, if you have enough available. We are working with MSF Logistics, as we previously see. The value of this stock that was placed in 2016 was $500,000. Okay, so here you see a bit the difference between both. And intervention in 2018 were Syria, Sudan, Ethiopia, Angola, Nigeria, Congo, and I think that's almost it. All right, that's a big scope. Let's talk about the syntaxes, what we call an e-prep, an e-order, an ASAP order, a replenishment order. So in this timeline at the bottom, you will see again the same idea of I start my explode and I decide my intervention. Yes, it is an emergency. What happened first? We will need to act with what we have. And what we have is, as we saw previously, we have in the prep. What scenario we have in the prep, and we have to respond with what we have. But I will realize soon that, and I should start with that. I'm going to miss some stuff. So I should pass an e-order right now. This e-order will take time to arrive. We saw previously in the slide that it was around a month, around 34 days on average, and 27 for the real emergency units, right? So still a month. So I still need to work during a month. This concept of in 24 hours, I have the goods. We can see is not what's happening today. For specific emergency, yes, but in reality, no. So I should launch my order. I will receive my order and I can pray that my ePrep will cover until then. It's supposed to be the concept. But I should not wait that I receive my e-order and I used it entirely to place my ASAP order, what I will need for later on. I should think about it straight away. All right. And if it's not an ASAP order, it will be a replenishment order anyway. So I should think of, I have my emergency, I passed my emergency order as soon as possible. Because if I am late, I will use more of my prep, right? Then I pass my emergency order, then I should focus on, wow, I should definitely place either replenishment order or another order, all right? You'll see that a bit in this graph. Let's move towards, we talked about ePrep, but basically what will enable you to, let's say, respond efficiently in your emergency. Defining the scenario, defining if I am in a country when I can have an emergency that is linked to malaria, to yellow fever, or displacement of people, or violence. Having that clear, having the content of those scenario clear, will help me to first define my stock. We will use that if we know that in each country there is this type of scenario. To create a stock with MSF Logistic. That's what we do with MSF Supply already. It will help the mission by themselves. Okay, the coalition team agreed that the scenario that should be covered by the mission are malaria and displaced people, then my ePrep should cover that. I have X months of lead time because I am in Sudan, then I should have X months cover by the ePrep. And those items should be there. And that will help us of, wow, we have a displaced intervention in the north of the country, then let's take the scenario because we have the ePrep based on that and because we have the stock based on that. So that should also help the creation and the definition of the e-order. All right? That's a bit the definition. And if I follow, but I did not follow the agenda, we saw a bit the covering periods and what enabled us to act better with this stock. Let's look at a more practical point of view. That is, how does it work? Basically, an stock status is available in the portal at any moment. If you don't have access, ask your supply reference or your supply manager to see where it is. It's most of the time updated. Then this is for you to know what is available there. Then an emergency is declared. The e-committee will validate that. We will create a code. When I say we, the supply reference with MSF Logistic, will create this code inside the portal based on the SAP creation code. We will do a small tick that is emergency, and that will change all the workflow, so the validation process of this order. There is different step below that you can read at another moment trunkily. That is basically, we will do some check of items, check of let's say the packaging are well included, the item are the correct one, it's quite a correct order in different way. Okay, then we will pass that into the portal and we will see later on how. What is important here is another follow-up will be done most of the time day by day for a real emergency by the supply reference telling you that much has been packed, that much has been shipped. We have issue on this one because we can't find it and stuff like that. Okay. Inside the portal, you will see this graph is a bit blurry, but keep in mind that the action arrow is the blue that has not dots, the plain blue one. You will see that action, there is not that much. A lot of people will be, let's say, involved by receiving a mail, but not that many people will act. We decided that the field should start the process because fields should be included in the process. So supply manager will pass the order as usual. But then what we call here logway, that is normally the supply reference for the emergency cell, that person, that profile, the system will validate the order, ask for quotation, and do all of this process that can take time sometime. And this logway will actually be replaced by your own mission supply reference. Why? Because they know the constraint of your country. Okay, so for example, we have a Nigeria, a Monguno order today. I place the order myself. The supply manager placed the order. I validate the order, and I will validate after this Skype the pro forma. So I will do that in behalf of the mission by talking to them by phone, by Skype, whatever, trying to make this process as quick as possible. We will leave in the hand of the project, of the mission, the green light process. Why? Because you, as people in the field, will go to the MOH or government asking for validation. Can I import those goods? Yes. We cannot from here control that. Talking about those constraints, I think that's a really important point. We all tend to think that I'm doing an emergency order, I want that ready tomorrow. Most of the time it happened almost that quick, as you see previously. The tomorrow is a week, and in the whole process, a week is already okay for what we have. But once we have the goods ready, they cannot be shipped. Why? Because we have a lot of constraints in those missions. You can see on the right a bit the data we had middle last year, and I don't think they changed that much. So yes, I am in Nigeria. I want my good right now. They are packed. They will be packed in a week, maybe less, sometimes 2 days. But let's say a big percentage will be packed in a few days. I have 3 weeks of play clearance. So if I have nothing negotiated with the government, I will still need a month to get my goods. It will not change. It is not linked neither to the capacity of your ESC, to the way of the ESC is working quickly or not. It's linked to what is my country pushing me to do. I need that many paper. I need that many people signing this document. So this is a big constraint. Next step, and I think that's one of the last one, is what can we do to improve that? So during this ESBM project, we are now sitting together with a group here in the headquarters. We try to improve this process. There is here a list of 7 improvement process that we can do. Specific measures for first responses is basically a type of checklist that do I have clear all my constraints, all my issue, what should I do when I start an emergency? Planning a bit more my orders, so the first response, the next order, what we saw before with the E-order, the ASAP order, the replenishment order. Revising my scenario, so my stock, and then, of course, my order, what we saw before as well, previously. If I have clear my scenario, if I'm revising my order right now with Tesaco, my e-stock, I can clearly say, if they have that many scenarios, we assume that 4 can happen at the same time, we put that much in the stock. That's clear, that's simple. But we need to have this information, and that's something that we are missing right now in Ogba. If I have that, I can create my prep based on that. The 5th one is an order follow-up, so having this visibility, it's actually there. And performance measurements, so basically the first graph that I show you, my percentage of item presented in stock, how long does it take me to validate my order, create my orders, and stuff like that. And then there is a part that is an SLA, so a service level agreement that we have with the ESC, that we need them to also as well commit to certain things. So if my item is in stock, they need to commit to have it packed in 24 or 48 hours. If the item is not in the stock, what is the commitment they can give me? All right, and it's here that there is some negotiation going on. And I'm going to hand up. I'm sorry, I'm taking 20 minutes instead of 15. It's a bit of matter of proactivity. You will see again the timeline from the explode to the decision of the emergency until that your good is received. And if you follow a bit the dot, you will see what you can do proactively. I will just focus on the red one, that we always think that play clearance is a supply issue by itself, but it's really a mission and the coordination, even a head of mission issue, that we need to have a clear communication with the government, with the actors, saying if we want to react, we need to have a specific channel, because if not, we cannot spend 12 weeks like in Ethiopia trying to get the goods. Then our emergency concept is questionable. I finished the presentation here. I have no more slide. I'll let you go for the question. If there is some.
Martin, this presentation is available already in SharePoint. Is going to be sent to the people, or how we can get it?
I think this presentation will be available in SharePoint, and
Right.
I'm sure you know where, and you can explain them where, and we can as well send it by mail. I'm sure I can, if you don't mind, Juan Jose Arevalo, if you can explain to the people where they can find it.
Right. So after we are recording this. Guys, sorry, the sound of my computer is not working last minute. So I was saying that we are recording this as the first time we did some months ago. So it will be available probably in the next days. You will inform by mail where it's going to be in the SharePoint together with this presentation then. And so you will have more time to to read the presentation, and perhaps you are going to have more questions, or you're going to have questions later on, and you can transfer those questions to me or Martin directly. Any question in the time being?
If not, I have messages.
People are writing. You can also talk. We can unmute yourself and talk if you want straight away. If not, we will wait the typing finishing and we will close. No, we don't have. So I'm just going to read the question from Bissau. Have you got this presentation also translated into French, Spanish, or Portuguese? No, we do not have it translated. As it is a live thing, I'm really present here. But if there is, I think, a need of any translation, please contact myself and Paco Arevalo, and we will manage to do something. All right, but we were thinking about it, but we, I think, need to see the need of people who does not speak English in the team, guys.
Can you say with us the recording? Yeah.
Another question from Alice. Can you share with us the recording? So as Paco explained, yes, we will. Another question from Soya Loco. I love reading question and answering. The emergency supply guideline is available. Yes, it is. It's available, and I will, when we will share this presentation, I will share the link of this supply guideline. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's inside SharePoint, emergency and something.
Yes, together with the information of the presentation, we will add all the links that we consider relevant for this webinar, for the information we are trying to pass now. Okay? Mike is writing, and no.
Why to talk if they can write?
Yes, but okay.
I can unmute you from here.
Well, I don't see any other typing happening. This is Cristina. So for me, key messages with this presentation, as if there is any message you need to take away from here today, important things for me is that I invite you, all of you, to go through your EPP of the mission, make sure you are familiar with it, because as part of the coordination team, you are responsible of the updating it. And in this, you will see most of the important parts of this. Even if we are only focusing on supply now, the EPP is a complete document that is talking about many different aspects. So the message today is go through your EPP and see at least the part of supply. And here you will see that you have things that you have to do beforehand. And one of the things was what Martin was saying. All the things, all the actions that you can do. Go back to the slide where we have the red part. Maybe there are things that nowadays with your document you can update it, and maybe the document was done 1 year ago and things were not clear custom-wise, pre-clearance documents. Okay, challenge that. See if something can be done better now to get pre-agreements with authorities, blah, 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 blah. And for that, you need your head of mission. Okay, so first message is go through your EPP and check the supply part of your EPP. And the second message is in your same EPP document, go through your scenarios and see if they are updated to what you are doing today. And if not, make sure you, as the LOCCOS, discuss with the MEDCO, the head of mission, HRCO, all the people involved, that you work on that. So those two things are very important for us to make sure that any order that is placed is adequate to the response and arrives as fast as possible. So EPP document, compulsory for everyone to have a look at it and get familiar. And if not updated, do it. If you need any help updating the document, contact your TELOCO and we will support from here, okay? There is a question, you can read.
There's a question from Mike Deninger, who is the MEO supply. I see the lead time for international order. Is it clear that EPP stock covers this period? I think it's a big point. I think we mentioned that in the beginning, in the slide number, whatever, number 6, between the starting point and the arrival of the e-prep will save you.
Yes.
This is the thing that will save you.
Yeah. So that's why each EPP, so emergency preparedness plan, each EPP is particular to the mission. Because from here, yes, we can have the idea of what is your scenario, what are you going to respond to, but it is you who knows how long it will take to pre-clear all the cargo. So if this is very long, then your EPP is different. Your stock is different. Yeah, so that's why you need to be familiar with it to see if there is anything you can do to improve the timing, or if not, to adapt the stock. And we have to be able to respond to our intervention with the stock we have in the country. Okay?
We will have, I think, the finishing word from Paco. Thanks. If there is no more question, we will close that here. Please feel free to contact your supply reference if you have any needs about those lead times, concept, and stuff like that, workflow as well. If not, thanks to all.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Christina. Guys, thank you to be here. I would like to hear from you what are the topics you would like to see around here in these webinars, and periodicity, when you would like to have this kind of events. So thank you very much again. This will be available on the SharePoint. Thank you. Bye, everybody.